Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. You know, sometimes a fighter who you think you know, someone you've watched maybe for a number of years, they have a certain style, in your head they are at a certain level. Sometimes, just occasionally, you get the odd person who will show you levels that you've just never seen before, who will make a quantum leap and become a total revelation to those that think they knew them. And you just have to say, where on earth has that fighter been hiding that punching power, that physical strength, that, technique, that mentality? Well, one such person is Giovani Santillan, because he knocked out ALEXIS Rocha in 6 rounds and pretty much dominated him from start to finish. Santillan came in undefeated, 31 wins with 16 KOs, no defeats, no draws. But Rocha was the golden boy, champion waiting, if you like. 26 years old, coming into his prime. Had scored that, very picturesque knockout of George Ashe earlier this year, but I think it was January. Prior to that, last year he scored a big upset win over Blair Cobbs, knocked him out in 9 rounds. Whereas Santillan, if you go back several years, was more of a safety first fighter, was more of a guy who, was high octane. I mean, he had high output, but he would usually win on points and didn't appear to have a big punch. You can throw out everything you thought you knew about Giovani Santillan, because against Rocha he was, like I say, an absolute revelation. He made this enormous quantum leap, showing all the things that I mentioned before: power, two-fisted attack. He's always been busy. He's always been quite aggressive, or certainly in his later fights he's been aggressive, but he had real power. And in the first round against Rocha, both men are southpaws, by the way, against Rocha in the first round, he was, going forward with both hands, letting his hands go. I mean, it was almost like, 12, this is a 12-round fight, I don't care, I'm going to treat it like it's a 3-round fight. And he was firing, salvos, volleys of punches with both hands. He bloodied Rocha's nose towards the end of the first round, and the corner found it difficult to stem the bleeding. I don't know if the nose is broken, perhaps it is. In the second round, it was, I think, really second and third round were, marginally better for Rocha. But nevertheless, the man who was supposed to be naturally the bigger fighter, naturally physically stronger, naturally more powerful, found himself under the cosh against the unfancied outsider Giovani Santillan. And in the fourth round, Santillan again started to take over in quite a big way. I mean, he dominated that fourth round. And in the fifth, it was all Rocha could do to get out of it, to get out of that fifth round, because he was knocked down with it was salvo of punches. I think it was a left hook was the final punch that sort of sat Rocha, well, didn't really sit down, it sort of pushed him back onto his rear end, and he fell back, looking up at the lights, blood all over his face. You were thinking, can he get up? He did get up, showed a lot of heart, Rocha. The referee, Jack Reese, I think was the referee, had a good look at him, but said, okay, you can fight on. He tried to fight back, and for a little segment of that, say in the middle of that fifth round, you got the feeling, well, perhaps Santillan has punched himself out, maybe. But in actual fact, he was just, if he was taking a deep breath, he had yet more salvos to come for ALEXIS Rocha. And sure enough, it was another combination that sat Rocha down for a second knockdown in that fifth round. Rocha again got up. Jack Reese looked very carefully at him, but it was towards the end of the round, and he somehow survived that fifth round, Rocha. But this was completely against the script. Rocha was supposed to be the one who was going to dominate. He was the one who was meant to be doing this to Santillan, not the other way around. Well, in the sixth round, Rocha again came out, plenty of guts, firing his own punches. He was trying to get off his own punches, and they weren't single punches. I mean, he was trying to fire combinations. But Santillan, just marched forward as he'd done from the opening round. Hands held high, head forward slightly, letting his hands go big, winging punches, big hooks. But he also fired a lot of uppercuts as well with both hands during this fight, Santillan. He was mixing up the wide punches with the straight down the middle ones. And it was one of those punches that unhinged Rocha in the 6th round, about, I don't know, a minute and a half in, something like that, maybe a minute and a quarter in. And Rocha sort of sagged, fell to his knees, and then the referee stepped in and stopped the fight. I think the referee was Ray Corona, actually, not Jack Reese. Jack Reese did referee a couple of fights on this card, I think, but not that one. But anyway, the fight was over. The referee stepped in, didn't bother counting in the 6th round, and Giovani Santillan has got himself the biggest win of his career. Believe me, again, I will, for the 3rd time in this video, I will use this word revelation, because that's what he was. He showed things we just didn't think he had. Maybe he's shown them in the gym and has just never been able to put it together in the ring. But I've never, well, maybe not never, but I've rarely seen a fighter, an underdog, come in so confident, so determined, so focused, and so spiteful. And after the fight, I mean, Rocha's face was a mask of blood. Santillan looked absolutely fine, not really a mark on him. He spoke in the post-fight interview in a very, very sort of articulate, calm, controlled manner, not without emotion, but, you know, he was very, very sort of clinically minded, dissecting his performance, and he seemed quite happy with his performance, as he definitely should be. Rocha, I don't know whether they interviewed him, I didn't see a post-fight interview, but he looked absolutely heartbroken. And this is the type of fight, as much of a breakout party as it is for Santillan, this is the type of defeat for Rocha that is going to leave its mental scars, because he got smashed to bits by an underdog who, apparently these two guys know each other and they're quite friendly. But Rocha got his arse handed to him, and this is going to be very difficult for him to psychologically come back from. He's only a young man, Rocha. I think he's only about sort of 26, 27, something like that. And Santillan's 31. So it's not like Rocha hasn't got time to come back from this, but he's going to need to, you know, have a good think. What did I do wrong? Did I prepare correctly? How come Santillan was able to beat me to the punch every time? How come he had the final say in the exchanges? Terrific performance by Giovani Santillan, and he is a threat at welterweight. Make no mistake about it. He was physically stronger than Rocha, and yet Rocha is supposedly the natural welterweight, and Santillan had fought some of his fights at 140. But go and see this fight. It's on DAZN as usual. Best card of the weekend came from abroad, not from Britain. This was a fantastic card promoted by Golden Boy, but one of their Golden Boys got ironed out proper. Believe me. What's the betting that Santillan? I think he's signed the Top Rank, and apparently Golden Boy and Top Rank are working together. But I don't know if that's going to carry on for much longer if this is the result. Maybe Oscar De La Hoya is going to think, nah, you're all right. We'll keep it a little bit more in-house next time. A building process for Rocha faces him, but Santillan, go and watch this fight. Brilliant, brilliant performance. All right, thanks for your time as always. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, and also hit that little thumbs up like button as well, because they count them apparently. Looking forward to reading your comments. This is a great fight. Go watch it. Bye for now.